Welcome back, everyone, to hour number 2 of Sports Call here on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in Auburn, Alabama, and wherever you are listening. And, again, we want to thank you, and we'll take your calls a little bit later on. But now, joining myself and Andy Graham here on the phone is the very own Quentin Riggins. Quentin, thanks so much for taking some time out this afternoon to be on the program.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad to be on the show.
And, Q, first of all, I just have to say, had to be exciting to be on that sideline Saturday as Auburn pulls out that win.
Well, it was. And here's the thing that I was looking at, going into the ball game. When Texas A&M averaged 41 points per game. And Johnny Manziel, when he had the offense clicking, they were averaging about 85 plays or so. And so if Auburn could get into that play count, and getting them down to about 75, or get into, if possible, under 75, by running the football and being deliberate, that maybe Johnny Manziel may panic, maybe he's throwing the ball up, maybe Auburn can get a couple of turnovers here and there. Well, we didn't have to worry about that. Number one, Texas A&M scored so fast, it didn't matter about, the 85 play count. And then, two, the defense was getting turnovers and pressure on its own. And so, and once, I think after the first quarter, going into the second quarter, okay, here we go. We can play with these guys. And, forget all the games tricks, spying, and all that stuff. We could just, 11-11, we can play with these guys. And I think as the game progressed, I think our guys believed more and more as it went on.
Quentin, I have to ask you because I was sitting at home watching it, and I'll have to be honest with you. I thought we scored a little bit too quick, and that's hard to say with a minute and 19 seconds to go. I don't think I've ever pulled for us not to score, and I know Texas A&M had all 3 of their timeouts, but I sure would have loved to make them burn one. But, in football, you always take it when you can get it because you don't ever know. You may fumble. I know Nick Marshall fumbled a snap down there earlier in the ball game. So when you stretch out and get the points, it's better to go ahead and do that. But I'll have to say I was a little nervous giving the ball back to Johnny Manziel, and that's crazy. That tells you how good he is and what kind of team they have. You're afraid to give the ball back at the end of the game up 4 points with a minute and 19 seconds because you're afraid that he can come down. And you know what? He did. He drove all the way down to the 20, and they did have a shot. Listen,
the way the offense was moving the ball and the game plan that Gus came up with for the fourth quarter, because the fourth quarter was a total different offensive attack from the first quarter. And if you go back and look at it, and so there was no doubt Auburn was going to move the ball, and you just wonder, okay, will they milk it all the way down underneath? Will they make Texas A&M burn clock? And when we had the first and goal, getting ready to go in, I'm thinking, okay, had the same thought, a minute, 19 seconds. Oh, that's too much time for the best offensive player in college football. There's way too much time. And then they reviewed it, and then I'm thinking, okay, here we go. But, it's better to score because, hey, we've seen turnovers in the red zone before. We've seen bad plays happen. Even 4th and 1 when Auburn had the first down against LSU on the road, open a drive, just an exchange from the quarterback, running back led to a turnover. So score, put the ball in the defensive hands. In hindsight now, I think about it, that's the best thing that could have happened because our defense had to win the game for us in the end. And I think a lot of those guys gained a lot of confidence. The whole team gained confidence, but particularly defensively because they got 2 big sacks, in the ball game, and they had to cover Evans. Evans is, I'm a Bolitnikov voter, and if he's not on my top 2 or 3 lists, then they need to take my ballot away from him.
Yeah. Hey, Quentin, this is Andy. All from the broadcast, I heard over and over that, Kyle Field and the atmosphere around College Station was so similar to Auburn. Have you ever been to Kyle Field before, and what was your impression?
And it was my first time being there. I was very impressed. The fans were great. The campus, when you first come on campus, it's widespread. I think they have maybe 40 plus thousand folks on campus. Immediately to your right when you're on campus, you see, I think, an 18-hole golf course. I mean, they got enough space that they can put a golf course on the main campus, so it gives you an idea how big the campus is. The stadium, it has the height of Neyland Stadium in Tennessee, and it's sort of like a U shape, built very much like a Mississippi State with the end zone closed. And so, but with Mississippi State, with the way they have their field house and the way they have their big screen, very similar to that. But watching the cadets come in, parade in, doing pregame was spectacular. And watching the alumni, some of the veterans stand up and salute them, and they were giving us kind of a breakdown on this is what this tradition is, this is what this song is. Oh, by the way, we don't have cheerleaders, we have these guys. And so it was pretty interesting to be introduced to another school's tradition. And I tell you what, after they beat us last year, 6-3 to whatever, and then we came back and beat them at their place, it's going to end up turning into a pretty interesting rivalry.
Yeah, Auburn vaults all the way from number 24 to number 11 in the AP poll and number 11 in the BCS standings. I can't even believe I'm asking this question, but after last year, what does Gus Malzahn have to do to keep this team grounded?
Well, you go back and you practice like it's spring practice, and you get after it. Now all of a sudden you're in a position that a lot of your goals that you had prior to the season, they're real. They're real goals, and so now what you got to do is you got to fight even that much harder for them. So you're sitting there, you have a team that you should beat on your schedule in front of you, and you have a couple of big road games next, but you got to take it one game at a time if possible, and that's going to be the challenge. That's going to be the real challenge for this team, and you can't look too far down the road, but you have to kind of almost reset your goals and say they're attainable. Now we got to buckle down that much harder. We got to focus, and we got to cut out the mistakes in the red zone, where we have how many games have we seen touchdowns come off the board, penalties show up in the red zone where it's just not this offense back or the defense is giving up a big play. All of those plays, you got to really zero in and take out those bad plays and put yourself in position to get it done.
Quentin, I think that's the positive thing. When you look at it, we're 6-1, but there's still a ton of things that we can work on to continue to get better. But a couple of things that are marked differences than last year. Of course, there's a lot different than last year, but two things, and I know you got to be happy about. Number one is this defense. This defense is playing their tails off. They're active. They give up a lot of yards, but they bend but don't break in the red zone, and they are aggressive. They're getting behind the line of scrimmage, whereas last year we didn't get anything behind the line of scrimmage. No sacks, no hurries, no anything. I'm impressed with our defensive front and what Rodney Gardner's done. Our linebackers are starting to wake up and make plays, and our secondary is much improved. And the other thing, Quentin, is owning the fourth quarter. We have owned the fourth quarter points-wise and really dominated these teams, and that's what's been the difference.
Right. I tell you what, when you look at what Rodney Gardner has done and shuffling 9 defensive linemen in and out of the ball game, getting them reps, keep them fresh, collapsing the pocket, getting pressure, making plays. That's not only going to make the secondary look better, where last year we only had 1 interception by a defensive back, and we had 1 interception by a linebacker. I think Fisher was the defensive back at the interception against Alabama A&M. And now we got a ton of interceptions. But now we also have linebackers that actually look like they belong in the SEC because the defensive line's playing better. When the defensive line's playing bad or they get pushed around, it doesn't matter if you have Tequila spikes in the middle. They're going to look bad. They're going to look ineffective. And so now, can we improve? Absolutely. You hear Auburn's defense coordinator Ellis Johnson talking about cleaning up the trash, cleaning up, getting those bad plays out of there. We got a long way to go. We got to clean that stuff up. But I would rather be 6-1 than 1-6 trying to clean it up. And that's where we are. You handle your business. You sit at the BCS, top, you're in the 11th place with the opportunity with some teams playing ahead of you to get in the top 10. And who would have thought it at the beginning of the season? Now you're fighting and scratching to stay healthy. And you're trying to take other little things. And I hate to say it, but Nick Marshall's going to get better. That offensive line is going to get better. And I don't know if Trey Mason can get better, but golly, he is running the football. And I said it at the beginning of the year, he is a 1,200-yard back. When I said that, everybody was like, come on, get out of here. He was a 1,000-yard back last year in a bad offense.
No doubt.
Put him in a good you put him in a good offense with somebody over the top like Sammy Coates who you have to guard, and then you have guys on the outside like Corey Grant that you have to respect. And all of a sudden, you're getting 5 yards a click in the middle. He's a 1,200-yard back, and hopefully he hits that mark.
Well, Quentin, again, we want to thank you for being on the show. Again, it's going to be fun coming down the stretch, and Auburn's got a couple of tough road games. I know Arkansas is not as good, but you still got to go on the road in the SEC, and it's tough. And of course, Tennessee looks like they're getting better, and of course, you've got Georgia and Alabama at home to end it up. But just a fun setup coming down the stretch with Auburn at 6-1 right now. Looking forward to it, and Quentin, we appreciate you. It's good to hear from you, my man, and I look forward to having you on again very soon, okay?
No problem. And I'm going to say this. A lot of my friends didn't get a chance to enjoy 2010 when we made our run. They kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I kept telling them it ain't going to drop. Sit back, enjoy this ride. It's going to be a very good ride, and I hope people enjoy it because this team is not through.
Well, I'm enjoying it right now, and I know you are too. And Quentin, good words there for all our Auburn Tiger fans. And, hey, man, look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Hang in there, man. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. That's Quentin Riggins, Auburn sideline analyst there for the Auburn Network. As you heard him, sit back and enjoy the ride. This team's going to continue to get better, and we're making some people nervous, just to say that, down the line that thought they had already checked off Auburn as a gimme win. Not doing that anymore. They're getting their dry erase markers and their erasers out and having to erase that check mark. But when we come back, we'll talk about this Auburn team some more. We'll take your phone calls. Stay tuned. More of the Tuesday edition of Sports Call here in the second hour coming your way right after this.